Raising the Bar for Deaf and Hard of Hearing Children. Kathy Stoehr and Aileen Welch, SC Vocational Rehabilitation Department. This presentation is brought to you by Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union.
She's deaf. Hello, everyone. My name is Aileen Welch, and I am one of the counselors with Vocational Rehabilitation. And we're here today to talk about raising the bar for deaf and hard of hearing children in the state of South Carolina. So what is vocational rehabilitation doing for our deaf and hard of hearing children here in South Carolina? First, we partner with the National Deaf Center in Texas because collaboration does help improve post-secondary outcomes for our deaf and hard of hearing students. And it helps increase opportunities and various things for our deaf and hard of hearing children, high school diploma tracks, and college and university diplomas, and various pathways that you can follow. We have research to practice models. The NDC uses census data to compare for post-secondary outcomes. We also identify root causes of why things might be happening. The National Deaf Center itself does research. They on identifying 5 key impact areas. One is designing accessible environments, promoting high expectations for success, collecting and using data for decision making, leveraging community resources, developing collaborative and integrated systems. There are many issues that are addressed. The South Carolina team has chosen promoting high expectations for success. And the work began with how will this affect my child? National research using census data shows that children who are deaf or hard of hearing are behind their peers in enrollment in post-secondary education, finishing college and grad school levels, completing training programs, employment opportunities, and their overall earning potential. How do we raise this bar expectation? First, advocating for our children, providing opportunities for self-determination, and teaching self-advocacy skills. Youth autonomy, which is helping promote future success. Parents who believe their deaf and hard of hearing children will succeed do realize that this is an important opportunity to encourage and advocate for self-independence, for fostering autonomy, for instilling higher expectations in others, teachers, counselors, employers. It's never too early to start. When a parent or teacher stands up and teaches them how to advocate for themselves as they grow up, they will have a much larger opportunity for success. But what is self-determination? Individuals make choices and decisions based on personal preferences and motivations. For deaf and hard of hearing individuals, it is an important predictor of outcomes after high school for their futures. Some advantages People with stronger self-determination skills are able to make their own choices, manage their time, solve problems, advocate for themselves. They're able to set goals and to make plans to reach their own goals. Self-determination skills are crucial for deaf and hard of hearing children. The other advantages are individuals are more likely to enroll in college. They are more likely to live independently. They have a more positive self-belief system. They are able to earn more money at work and plenty of other opportunities for career development. What is self-advocacy? It is the ability to share one's needs and make informed decisions about what support is needed to meet those needs. That would include knowledge of self, knowledge about rights, communication skills, as well as leadership skills. Self-advocacy benefits. The benefits of self-advocacy are an increased quality of life, a better sense of motivation, and an overall well-being, as well as a belief in themselves. So what can we do? How can we help our children or students build this skill? First, educate yourself. Communicate with the child's team and their support team. Know what accommodations are appropriate for your children. Seek support from organizations and other parents. And also allow your child to be dependent while teaching them to become independent. That would include maybe letting your child order some pizza or order food, or to say what they want to eat when you go out to a restaurant. That could include helping your children develop and be active in their own IEP or their school plans, or what do they want, or their needs that they might have. Do some role play situations. Maybe learning how to ask for help at school, or how to inform or let the teacher know that there's a hearing aid problem or it's broken, or encourage our children to express their emotions without judgment, just letting them speak freely, to give your children the opportunity to develop their own skills and to identify who they are. So how to develop self-advocacy skills in our deaf and hard of hearing individuals? We need to recognize and adopt a team effort to collaborate with teachers, the VR counselors, other parents, other disability providers. Work as a team to ensure individuals have many opportunities to learn, to practice skills like explaining communication needs, requesting accommodations that they need that would be important for them. You can encourage flexibility to discover what exactly fits, to learn what is best for deaf and hard of hearing individuals while they're young, which will increase familiarity with a range of accommodations and their ability to request and obtain and use them, to provide tools that can help one identify and understand their legal rights. It is very important to learn and understand the laws that are related to their accommodations. Being able to understand how these laws apply to a variety of settings and to educate others about equal access under the law. For older students, promoting understanding of our own hearing loss or their own hearing loss, being able to explain how it impacts their communication in various environments. For deaf and hard of hearing kids, being able to explain their communication and accommodation needs would be a first step, and to help develop their own personal toolbox. Developing a personal toolbox, you could help one by identifying, understanding their legal rights, by learning and understanding laws that are related to their accommodations, and being able to apply those laws to various settings. And how can deaf and hard of hearing children practice self-advocacy skills? First, attending their IEP meetings, volunteering at school-sponsored events and activities, participating in social events and family outings, making plans to use video or captioned phone equipment, practice asking questions at a store, ordering pizza for your family. Practicing self-advocacy skills is vital. People who practice self-advocacy skills often are more prepared to advocate for themselves in their future. Practicing self-advocacy skills helps you identify and know yourself. And strong self-advocacy skills should allow deaf and hard of hearing individuals to be able to describe what their needs are, to set their own goals, and to create a plan on how to achieve them. To know how, who, where, and when to ask for assistance, and to make decisions for themselves. Transition planning. What does that mean? Transition planning involves thinking about your life after high school and developing a plan for different paths like college, training opportunities, employment, independent living. Middle school and high school are times to focus on developing the skills you might need to compete and succeed in these areas. How can VR help? Vocational rehabilitation, transition services. We offer career counseling, vocational assessments, and that would mean some people who just don't know where they want to work, what kind of work they want. Vocational assessments can help the person identify their strengths, their weaknesses, their skill levels, what they're proficient at or not, and then to figure out which job would match them the best. We help with assistive technology, with job placement, and developing a person's soft skills, and also on-the-job training. If someone has never experienced work opportunities before, we can offer training and practice for that. VR can help in a variety of different ways during the transition process. Most important for our deaf and hard of hearing children is to develop self-advocacy skills within themselves. It is vital for their successful futures. Thank you so much.
Any questions? Ask your questions in the comments.
And you don't have a video.
Hi, I'm Kathy Stoehr, and I'm the state coordinator for Deaf and Hard of Hearing Services at Voc Rehab. And we did have one question in the chat box I'd like to respond to. The question was, when and how do I apply for VR services? And we technically serve students at 13 would be the youngest. That's what our program is allotted from the federal government. We can begin transition services at 13, and we serve all the way into adulthood. So a person would apply, a parent would apply with their child, could be at the school or at a Voc Rehab office. Every area of the state has a VR office, and our website, you can find the closest one to you. You can ask your school. Usually there's a transition counselor in the schools that would be able to direct you to the deaf and hard of hearing services part of VR. I did want to emphasize that we do start at 13, but that's not a magic number. And there's so much that can happen with teachers and parents working together to ensure that your child has access to what their hearing peers have access, so that the effects of the lack of incidental learning can be mitigated. Like I often would hear teachers or counselors say, well, you just have to advocate for yourself. And how do you know what that means if you've never seen it modeled for you? So think about that. One of the most important parts of raising the bar and of having high expectations is to think of the absolute best that can happen for your child, high expectations, and then work with teachers, work with counselors, and expect them to also have high expectations for your child. And that will lead to better outcomes, college diplomas, better earning power, and more job satisfaction for your kids in adulthood. Thank you so much. Unless there's other questions, I'd be happy to do that. Okay, I do see a question for who is the VR counselor in Fort Mill. And we do have an office in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And the person that is in that office is Miss Tanya Wilkes. And so, but you can always go to the scvrd.net and you can get all of the information, phone numbers, and email addresses for the VR counselors. Thank you so much. Okay, wait, I have another question. I'm seeing my questions in the chat box, so hang on a second. The question is, I was told because my daughter goes to school in Washington, D.C., she couldn't receive service in South Carolina. We can serve students that go to school in Washington, D.C., unless they have a case open in the DC Voc Rehab system or the Maryland Voc Rehab system. But we serve students that go to Gallaudet University. We serve students that go to the Model Secondary School for the Deaf. And we continue their VR services in the summer when they're home. And we provide services, well, until the pandemic, we provided services to the students who live on campus at the Model Secondary School for the Deaf. We did that through video phone. We are able to communicate with students remotely through Zoom, and we're very happy to do that. So if there's a question about providing services, VR services in DC, please get in touch with me directly, and I will help you through that process. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today, and enjoy raising your kids and continue to have high expectations for them. Thank you.